All right. Wednesday. Additional thoughts. Kenny Beats. Louie. I'm just going to leave this in. Yeah. I don't know if they can hear it or not. So, yeah, my wife and I have been laughing because I've been starting videos and failing and, starting over. Because I don't edit. I just do it all in one cut. And the water pipes are making these weird sounds right now. And it's... it sounds like a whale farting long and slow underwater. Jesus. Anyway, Kenny Beats has a solo album out. It's called Louie. And honestly, it's about as much fun to listen to as this whole little interaction has been. Very, very enjoyable. Very enjoyable. And, going into it, when I follow Kenny on Twitter, and when I saw this thing post up like, oh, he's got an album, I was like, fucking cool, man. Cool. Because I know he's done all kinds of work, with little EP projects with different artists and stuff like that. He's got The Cave, which my wife and I are big fans of. And so it was just neat to okay, he's going to put out a project that, focus on what he wants to do, and learning that, his dad was diagnosed with cancer, and so that's why he made the album, and learning that, he plays bass, he plays drums, he plays different things, which makes perfect sense, because I remember during the reaction commenting about how it sounds like the stuff was just played, but I assumed, because he is so good at producing, that, he had just masterfully arranged it on his laptop. So it was just kind of cool about that. And then, I honestly never did look into Kenny's life to learn more about things like The Perch, where he's there with his dad on the radio station. But I'm assuming, that's a thing, and that's how he got into music and stuff. So that's just cool. One thing that really strikes me about this album and what I enjoy about it so much is how, you've got the style, this sonic style that exists throughout. And each track is really well done in terms of the production, which is no surprise, right? Kenny's great at production. And each track is distinct from the other, but there's just kind of this continuous sound that ties everything together. And it's so cool because it's 34 minutes, I think. Yeah, 33 minutes, 17 tracks. Just flows right into the next one. It's great in the sense that the length lets you listen to it in the car. Like I listened to it this morning on my way to work. I got to listen to the whole thing, which is great. That's awesome when you can throw in something like that. But then there's also this feel of, if you take the album, the sound, and you kind of zoom out a little bit, you can really just watch it evolve over time. And it seems like Kenny put in a lot of thought in what instruments he wants to use, how he wants to use them, and just have that sound subtly evolve as the album progresses and goes to the end. Because the first half, it really feels, kind of light and happy and just positive. And not that it gets dark, but it does kind of turn just a little bit. It's less positive and happy and upbeat, a little bit more, almost philosophical in how it sounds and some of the samples that are being used. And then you get into this, track 11 is The Perch, and you're really starting to think about, okay, he's probably thinking about his dad a lot, and I assume he's using samples that maybe his dad really enjoyed, or maybe he heard around the house, or I don't know. I don't know how the samples play into it, which is unfortunate, because it probably plays a lot more into it than I realize. But then you get the closing tracks, 16 and 17, Rotten and Hot Hand. And I feel like I really like Rotten. Track 7, still beautiful production with Peggy thrown on top of it, which is cool. Because I love how at the end it's JPEG Mafia telling them, just don't tell anybody about this. No rapper's going to want to touch this. Just lock it the fuck up. Don't tell. It's perfect. Really like that track. But I think Rotten is my favorite because it's just got this tone. And then you get into Hot Hand and there's this tension, this anxiety that builds and builds and builds. And I don't know, it's hard to explain why I feel a certain way. I think, just taking the flow of the album and the sounds that happen and as it progresses and thinking about, Kenny and trying to kind of put myself in his shoes and thinking about, him reflecting back to when he was a kid at the radio station with his dad and maybe different songs that they used to listen to, and his dad being sick and him having songs in here like Eternal and all these other, We Live Forever, and just, I feel like you can really feel Kenny processing this, and from what I understand, just from glimpses I saw online of, articles talking about how it's a musical get well card for his dad and all that other stuff. You also have Kenny's side of just, oh shit, dealing with this, with cancer, and then really mortality as a whole. So it's a really neat project. I really enjoyed it, and it's great. I was listening to it quite a bit. My wife listened to it quite a bit. And something I was smiling about, I think it might have been today. There's a couple albums I listen to where I feel like I can sneak it in, where the audience, like if I've got friends over, if we're somewhere else, I can sneak it in and get away with listening to it, because like the most recent Tool album, I feel like I can listen to that around people who don't listen to metal, because it doesn't quite come off as metal. And I feel like Louie is something where I can sneak it in and play it for people who don't listen to hip hop, because it doesn't quite come off as hip hop, even though, I think it exists well within that vein. There's just this subtlety to it. And it's, I don't know, it doesn't beat you over the head with anything. It just exists, and you can listen to it, and it's enjoyable, and it's great. I think it's great. So very happy with that. I don't have a whole lot else to say. I don't think there was a lot of like videos. Maybe there was one for Family Tree or something, but that might have just been a teaser that I saw. Anyways, cool. Really enjoyed it. Good job, Kenny. If you ever see this, fantastic work. And let's get some more. Let's get some more of these projects, okay? Yeah. Let's do that. All right. We'll see you guys.